Manx Radio Sport.
Welcome to the Saturday Sport Classified on Manx Radio AM 1368. Over the next hour or so, taking you through all the results, reaction and analysis to today's sporting action across the Isle of Man and further afield. And also we will be bringing you the live draw for the semi-finals of this year's Manx Car Store Railway Cup competition, with Luke Robinson, representative from the sponsors Manx Car Store, in attendance this evening. Before we get to the results, or the details I should say, let's bring you the classified results from today, Saturday the 29th of November 2025. Starting with football. The Canada Life Men's Premier League. Union Mills 0, Laxey 1. Foxdale versus St John's United postponed. Corinthians 4, Braddon 1. Ayr United 2, Peel 4. Ramsey versus Douglas High School Old Boys postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. Ardern and Drug Unlimited Division 2. Colby 4, Governors Athletic 3. Castletown 9, Douglas and District 0. Pulrose United 2, Douglas Royal 2. St George's 1, Marown 2. Canada Life Combination 1. Braddon versus Corinthians postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. Peel 10, Ayr United 1. Douglas High School Old Boys versus Ramsey postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. Laxey versus St Mary's match abandoned due to pitch conditions. Score awaiting confirmation. Onken versus St John's United postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. Foxdale 0, Russian United 7. Ardern and Drug Unlimited Division Combination 2. Ramsey Centre versus Gyms awaiting result. Governors Athletic versus Colby postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. Douglas and District 2, Castletown 3. Douglas Royal 2, Pulrose United 7. Michael United versus St George's, a home walkover to Michael United. St George's unable to field a team. And Marown versus Douglas Athletic awaiting result. Turning then to rugby. Regional 2 Northwest. Douglas 29, Widnes 12. And Counties 3 ADM Lancashire and Cheshire. Ramsey 0, Vagabonds 0. In hockey, the Mixed Premier League. Backers A2, Valkyries A0. Harlequins A5, Castletown Celts 2. Vikings A8, Backers B5. Castletown Southerners 2, Vikings B1. In Mixed Division 1, Vikings C0, Valkyries C2. Backers C2, Valkyries B4. Ramsey A4, Harlequins B1. Mixed Division 2, Castletown Cosney 0, Castletown Cushags 1. Backers Mixed Colts 2, Vikings D5. Ramsey Ravens versus Castletown Camags postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. Mixed Division 3. Ramsey Rookies 0, Vikings E1. Harlequins D3, Castletown Carrick 0. Backers D4, Harlequins C1. Valkyries D3, Backers Mixed Bucks 2. The Mixed Under-15s League. Backers 2, Harlequins 3. Valkyries 6, Castletown Sabres 1. Castletown Sharks versus Vikings, a walkover to Vikings. That concludes your classified sporting results for the Isle of Man on Saturday, the 29th of November 2025. And there are still a couple of outstanding results, particularly when it comes to Manx football as well. So if you do have any details on those that are awaiting details, please do let us know. Text or WhatsApp 166 177. Well, we're doing things a little differently this evening because we're going to turn our attention to hockey, first of all, because it was an important weekend this weekend. The final weekend of the 2025 Isle of Man Mixed Hockey League season. Plenty of ups and downs across the respective divisions. One league title still up for grabs going into this last weekend, and a couple of relegation battles going on elsewhere as well. To go through things, as always, is our hockey correspondent Ben Cunningham. And Ben Cunningham, Mixed Division 1, of course, is where a lot of attention will have been at today. Going into today, we won't go into any details just at the moment. We'll get to that, but there were 14 possibilities involving 4 teams that could have mathematically won the league today. 2 relegation battles elsewhere. It's been a busy old day, hasn't it?
It's been a very busy day. Some massive results, and let's go through them and let people be off the tenterhooks.
Indeed. We'll start with the Mixed Premier League. Now, Backers A were crowned champions of the Mixed Premier League last weekend. We did have a relegation battle elsewhere. We'll come to that. But Backers A, well, they were looking to make it 10 wins from 10, make it a perfect league season. They've managed that today up against a side who have also had a strong season, not too far behind them. Backers A have beaten Valkyries A by 2-0 today.
Yeah, Jamie Brown and Shay Christian with both goals for Backers A, giving them that 100% record. What a fantastic season Backers A have had. I think you've got the league tables in front of you there, Rob. I think how many goals is it they've scored this season?
So that's 65 goals scored this season and just the 10 conceded.
So an absolute fantastic season. And then as for Valkyries, finishing runners-up in this league, a great season for them. After what was a very disappointing season last year, things have really improved. They've got themselves back together again. And runners-up spot for Valkyries A. Congratulations.
Indeed, runners-up spot. And also just to mention as well, only Backers had a better defensive record this season than Valkyries A in the Mixed Premier League. Elsewhere, another of the 12:35 pushbacks was at King William's College between Harlequins A and Castletown Celts. And it's a good result for Harlequins A to round out the season up against the Castletown Celts side, who themselves have had another positive campaign, but Harlequins A winning this one 5-2.
Yeah, George Ratcliffe with 2 goals, Oren Blakemore with 2, and Rachel Milton with 1 for Harlequins A. And for Castletown Celts, it was George Powell and Robbie Valerga, but a great result there for Harlequins, one that they'll definitely be proud of, and especially with the season they've had this year. Of course, just getting in that top half of the split when it got split after all the teams had played each other. So, yeah, great season for Harlequins. Castletown, though, they'll be disappointed to finish the season on a loss, but they've had a great season as well.
And one of the other 2 games that were 5-2 pushbacks, the Castle Russian High School Vikings A, who by their standards haven't had the best of seasons in the Mixed Premier League this season, up against Backers B. A 13-goal thriller to round out the season for these 2 teams. Vikings A coming out on top by 8-5, Ben. That must have been quite entertaining for the neutral.
From the reports I've had from both captains, they've both called it the game of the season because it very much was. An end-to-end game. Eddie Cayley with 3, Archie Cayley with 1, Mia Greenwood with 1, Kim Carney with 2, and Neil Crow with 1 for Vikings A. And then Backers B goal scorers were Carl Moore with 3, Tony Bentley Roberts with 1, and Will Wiseman with 1. But fantastic game for the neutrals at that pitch, especially at Castle Russian High School. Keep you all warm there.
Fourth and final game in Mixed Premier League was the one that had everything riding on it at the bottom of the table, because it was bottom of the table Castletown Southerners up against second from bottom Vikings B. Vikings B went into this 2 points better off than Castletown Southerners, so Southerners knew they had to win to have any chance of staying up. They've managed to do that, Ben. Castletown Southerners beat Vikings B by 2-1, and that means Southerners stay up and Vikings B go down. The difference between them, 1 goal-on-goal difference.
How many times have we said it each year, Rob? Goal difference is just like an extra point, and it's proven it today. Southerners stay up and Vikings B are down. Andy Winstanley with 1 and Lucy Allen with 1 for Southerners, and for Vikings B it was Nathan Evans. But like we say, that goal difference, it can be a crucial point.
Yeah, because that means that Castletown Southerners stay up with a goal difference of -40, Vikings B -41. So congratulations to Castletown Southerners on staying up. Commiserations to Vikings B, who will be playing in Mixed Division 1 next season. Speaking of Mixed Division 1, crucial games there. We did mention, of course, 4 teams were mathematically in contention for the Mixed Division 1 title, either this weekend or going into a rearranged game for Harlequins B. So this is how things looked at the top of the table going into this weekend, just to give you a bit of a flavour of the landscape that we had. Mixed Division 1, top of the table going into this weekend was Backers C on 12 points with a goal difference of +20. Valkyries B second on 12 points, a goal difference of plus 13. Ramsey in third, 12 points with a goal difference of plus 9. Harlequins in fourth, 11 points with a goal difference of plus 3, but with a game in hand. And that meant going into this weekend, there were a total of 14 possibilities between the four clubs, which meant the league could be decided one way or another between any of the four sides, either this weekend or going into that game in hand for Harlequins B. We have an answer today. The league has been decided today, Ben. Ben, I'll actually do this a little bit differently. I'll let you take us through the two key results today in Mixed Division 1.
So in the early game between Bacchus C and Valkyries B, Valkyries B won that one by 4-2. Sophie Parton and Jack Grimley for Bacchus C. For Valkyries B, it was Ellen Devereaux, Kieran Gale, Ollie Webster and Chris Cadwell, meaning that Valkyries had one hand on the trophy, meaning that we needed to have the result from Ramsey against Harlequins B, and that ended 4-1 to Ramsey A. Alfie Mellon, Christina Cameen, Jordan Park and Elisa Morocco, with Tom Hurd getting the consolation for Harlequins B. And we've looked at the tables, and Valkyries B, yet again, goal difference has come down to it. They've done it on goal difference.
They have indeed. So, yeah, just to add to that, so both Valkyries B and Ramsey A both finishing on 14 points, but Valkyries B, their goal difference plus 15, Ramsey A plus 12, so only 3 goals in it, because, of course, there were a few possibilities, Ben, that would have seen Harlequins B, even if they hadn't won today, it could have gone to their rearranged game against already relegated Vikings C on the 10th of December. Not going to be the case. It has been decided.
It's been decided, and I'm quite glad it's been decided this weekend, because there was so much riding on this weekend in all the other divisions as well. But congratulations to Valkyries B. They'll be back in the Premier League next season.
And we mustn't forget there was a third game taking place elsewhere between relegated Vikings C and Valkyries C. So it was a meeting of the bottom two to end the season for these two sides. Valkyries C coming out on top, beating Vikings C 2-0.
Yeah, Chris Thomas and Liam Harris with the goals for Valkyries C, giving them a good victory to end the season on, and a season for Vikings C that they'll probably want to forget.
Indeed. So congratulations to Valkyries B, once again Mixed Division 1 champions on a dramatic final weekend of the Mixed League season. Mixed Division 2. Now, the league had already been decided just over a week ago. Castletown Camags crowned champions, but there was a big battle at the bottom. Southern Derby, Castletown Cosney, bottom of the table. Castletown Cushags second from bottom. The winner of this one would stay up. Cushags have managed to do that. They had the upper hand today, but they've only just beaten their fellow Castletown side, Castletown Cosney, by a 0-0. Ben, fine margins.
Fine margins indeed, and the goal scorer was Amelia Corlett, and from the message we've had through, her mother actually bribed her and said, if you score today, I will give you £20. So she has got her £20 today.
I think this is a very broad use of the term bribe here. Incentive.
Yeah. So,
well, it's certainly proven effective, because it's gone on to score the match-winning goal.
And the one that's kept Cushags up.
Absolutely. So I think it's money well earned, in my opinion, if you're listening out there, but it's not up to me. Just an opinion. Anyway, looking at the other games elsewhere. So that was an early pushback at 11:05. Another 11:05 between Bacchus Mixed Colts and Vikings D. Vikings D winning this one at the NSC 5-2.
Yeah, Vikings D have had a great season, finishing in that runners-up spot. Ian Perry with 1, Danny Kane with 1, Bruce Gimbert with 1, and Richie Gelder with 2, with both goals for Bacchus Mixed Colts coming from Alice Cameen.
And the other game that was due to take place in Mixed Division 2 was a 3:30 pushback between Ramsey Ravens and Castletown Camags. That match has actually been postponed. That is due to pitch conditions. So whether that will be replayed or not will have to be decided going forward. But that game did not take place. Incidentally, just a reminder, if you've not long joined us as well regarding the conditions going on out there, the Isle of Man Constabulary has announced in the last 20 to 30 minutes the Mountain Road has now been closed in its entirety due to the current levels of snow and cold conditions up there. So if you are out and about, a reminder, the Mountain Road is now currently closed in its entirety. So if you were planning to use the Mountain Road, please do find an alternative route. Elsewhere, Mixed Division 3. This title was decided last week. Valkyries D were crowned Mixed Division champions last weekend. No relegation from this league, of course. Looking through the games that have taken place today in Mixed Division 3, up at Ramsey Grammar School, Ramsey Rookies up against Vikings E, meeting of the bottom two sides. Vikings E just edging this one by a 0-0.
Yeah, and Jackson Hayes got the crucial goal for Vikings E, giving them the victory over Ramsey Rookies. Of course, Ramsey Rookies will be devastated that they haven't just been able to find that win this today. but against the Vikings Z side, which looked very much evenly matched, just Vikings Z taking it on the day.
Indeed. 12:35 pushback at the NSC saw Harlequins D taking on Castletown Carrick, a meeting of 5th versus 6th. Harlequins D ending the season with a win, 3-0.
Yeah, Aidan Leslie with 1, and some fella called Ben Cunningham got 2 goals, but we won't dwell on him too much.
No, we don't need to hear about these players who have a lot of hype around them but just don't deliver, do they?
No.
Anyway, 2 other games. Backers D played Harlequins C at the NSC at 2:05. Backers D 4-1 winners.
Yeah, Backers D getting that win today, and they will now finish in that runners-up spot because of the next result, which we'll bring you after this. But Christian Davis with 1, David Neal with 2, and Jazz Slight with 1 for Backers D. And the consolation for Harlequins C coming from Josh Hollenby.
Indeed, yes, Backers D moving up into second because Backers Mixed Bucks, who started the weekend in second, faced the champions Valkyries D this weekend. So first versus second to end the season in Mixed Division 3. Valkyries D winning this one 3-2, so it's been close. Yeah,
very close game to end the season on, and Valkyries just taking it. Mike Fowles with 1, Will Miller with 1, and Danny Leminoso with 1, with both goals for Backers Mixed Bucks coming from Cal Joyce, meaning, of course, Backers Mixed Bucks just missing out on that runners-up spot.
And just very quickly, Ben, take us through the 2 results that we had from the Mixed Under-15s League today.
Yeah, so we had 3 fixtures, but only 2 have gone ahead. The Castletown Sharks against Vikings game, that has been given as a walkover to Vikings. The other 2 games that went ahead were Backers 2, Harlequins 3, Marcus Correa and Rose Smith for Backers, with 3 goals for Harlequins coming from Callum Leslie, Ruby Crellin and Zach Barlow. And then Valkyries 6, Castletown Savers 1, Emily Moyer with 1, Harry Lewis with 1, Emma Strushgres with 1, Evie Martin with 1, Will Miller with 1, and Rhea Marr with 1 for Valkyries. And the consolation coming from Castletown Savers was Emily Annalise. And I think, on the top of my head, in the Under-15s League, that means that Valkyries have won the league up to Christmas, with Harlequins in second.
Excellent. Well, an entertaining final weekend. But Ben, just quickly 2 more things. This isn't the end of the mixed season as a whole, because we do still have cup finals to come, don't we? What details can you tell us?
Yeah, so the cup finals is slightly changed because we've got the Ireland senior teams going to be competing on the weekend, which we had scheduled for the Cup Plate and Bowl finals to happen. So the mixed bowl and the mixed plate will happen on the 13th. I think it's the bowl at 12:30 with it's the plate at 12:30 with the bowl at 2:30, and then the cup is now due to be scheduled to be played on the 20th of December. A date and a time and venue is yet to be confirmed, but I think it'll be at the NSC.
Okay, and just finally, Ben, it's not even the end of the hockey action this weekend, because the Isle of Man has a new national team in action this weekend, specifically the newly formed Women's Over-35s team. They're entering the England Hockey Masters Championships for the first time, specifically in the EH Women's Over-35s Cup for the 25-26 season. They are due to host Chester, so a game on home soil tomorrow, 11:15 a.m. at the NSC in Douglas. Of course, we are still keeping an eye on those weather conditions. But Ben, yet another Manx team moving into the England Hockey Championships. Good times.
Absolutely, it's great to have another senior team going into the England Hockey Championships, and to have the game on home soil. It's great, and I'm sure that if all the Manx hockey community will be down to support the newly formed team. But again, if you are looking for something to do tomorrow morning, get yourself down to the NSC to watch what will be a fine game of Manx hockey.
Excellent, Ben. Thank you very much indeed for the time being, and we'll be catching up with Ben Cunningham again very soon. So just a reminder, the Isle of Man Women's Over-35 squad to face Chester Women's Over-35s in the England Hockey Women's Over-35s Cup. 11:15 a.m. it's scheduled to get underway at the NSC tomorrow in Douglas. Here is your Isle of Man team. It is Rachel Overman, Jen Turner, Naomi Lewis, Katie Eric, Imogen Manning, Kim Carney, Zoe Shimon-Mann, Charlotte Hunter, Lorna Kenyuk, Louise Slater, Kirsty Cooper, Rebecca Pate, Lucy Kinraid, Suzanne Slater, Hayley Crow as well. So very best of luck to them.
Manx Radio Sport.
Turning our attention to football now, plenty going on today despite the weather doing its best to try and disrupt things. We have had a couple of postponements and a couple of venue changes throughout today, but nevertheless we've had plenty going ahead. Of course, the big talking points going into the weekend in the Canada Life Men's Premier League was there was one Railway Cup spot still up for grabs with both Laxey and St John's United in contention ahead of Saturday's fixtures. And of course, Castletown and Colby continuing their battle at the top of Ardern and Drug Unlimited Division 2. To go through everything that's happened today is our football correspondent, Tony Mepham, as usual. Tony, it's been a bit of a wet and wild day, I think it's fair to say, but still plenty of games able to go ahead.
Yeah, we got there, and a lot of hard work done behind the scenes to get where we are today. Thanks for the clubs for working with us. Laxey certainly won, Union Mills as well. Foxdale played their part, and St John's, even though we couldn't get that game on. But the important one was the Laxey one we were all looking at. We've got the result we needed, so it means that the Manx car stores can now have the Railway Cup semi-finals on next week, and then the final, hopefully, we're on track for Boxing Day, Rob. So still a lot of weekends to come where we may have some bad weather, but we're there, we're nearly there.
Well, let's stay with the Railway Cup and how it's been confirmed who has the final place today, because Union Mills took on Laxey today. There was a change of venue for this one. It was due to, of course, take place at the home of Union Mills, Gary Moore, but then that was moved to the Bowl today as well, just to try and get ahead of the pitch conditions. The game did go ahead. Laxey went into this knowing all they had to do was avoid defeat to earn that final Railway Cup spot. Corinthians, Peel and Onken already secured their places in there. Laxey beating Union Mills by a goal to nil and getting the job done, Tony.
It was, but they had to work hard for the game, because certainly the goal came in the 92nd minute, so it just shows you how tight it was. But even at 0-0, it didn't matter, because Laxey had got that all-important point that they needed. But Laxey started strong but lacked that final touch, and after 10 minutes Union Mills started to get involved. Then on 37 minutes the best chance came for Laxey, with Adam Meelan hitting the post, so at half-time it was still 0-0. The second half carried on in the same vein as the first, with Adam Meelan having 3 shots on target. Then on the 85th minute, Union Mills got a free kick, with Dominic McCarry-Brennan taking it only for Pickering to tip it over the bar. Then on 92 minutes, Laxey found that goal from a corner, with Brodie Patience got that goal they've been searching for, and the game ended Union Mills 0, Laxey 1. So what a big goal that was, and 3 points for Laxey, which keeps them in touch at the top of the table. That's another one to look at, but the important for them is to be in that semi-final draw tonight.
Indeed, and before that draw, again, just looking at those 4 that have qualified again, Tony, Corinthians, Peel, Laxey and Onken, particularly those last 2 that you mentioned there, Laxey getting in there, and Onken, who've impressed a lot of people at the start of this season as well. How happy do you think both Laxey and Onken will be to be alongside the likes of Corinthians and Peel for a competition such as the Railway Cup?
Well, I think, to be fair, Laxey have taken it really well this year, and they look really strong. But Onken would be delighted, and if you remember, Rob, and I've got to sort of brag about it, that I did say that I fancied Onken to go into the semi-final draw, because what I saw of them, I just thought, yeah, they're a different team this year, and they showed it last week. To be 4-0 down at half-time against Laxey, and then to come back 4-4 in the style that they did, just shows that even though they're a very, very young side, they have no fear. And that's something that, you can't install in your players. They have to have that in themselves. And it's a pretty impressive lineup. Now, which team wouldn't you want? Which team would you want? I don't think it matters, because I think those 4 sides are pretty well equal. I know Corinthians, with the games played, are looking in a really comfortable place at the top of the league. But don't forget, Peel have got now 2 games in hand. You've got Onken in there as well. Laxey have still got games in hand. It's all to play for. But the big one is the Railway Cup final on Boxing Day. That's where they want to be. And that's where we want a game of football to be played. And hopefully we'll get the semi-finals done next week.
Speaking of another team who are in the Railway Cup competition this season, Corinthians, top of the league, started the weekend, the only undefeated side in the top flight, coming up against a Braddon team hovering just a couple of points above the relegation zone, although again with that caveat, we are only halfway through the season, so still a lot of football to be played. Corinthians beating Braddon by 4-1 today, Tony. This is the game that you were at, and Braddon, I believe you were saying, also showed quite a spirited performance despite losing to a Corinthians side that have been so strong this season.
They did, and Corinthians were very, very, I wouldn't say lucky, but they started off well, because within 8 minutes Dan Simpson had scored the goal, because a tidy ball played in to the penalty area, and Dan just spun, put it past the keeper, Alex Haddock. He stood no chance at all, and there it was, 1-0 to Corinthians. And then they started to sort of just play some really good football. A lot was coming down that right-hand side with Ryan Nelson, who's a really promising footballer. He's 17 years of age, but my word, he seems to get better every single game. And Luke Murray got one, pulled it back. Close range. He's a massive player. He's in the penalty area and fired it past the keeper. And then he got his third one, a crossover, corner ball. And there was Luke to put the ball over the line to make it 3-0. And then Dan Simpson got one just before half-time to make it 4-0. Braddon hadn't had too many chances, but were still in the game. Second half, totally different, and well done to everyone who sort of sorted it all out. Will Smith was in there, and he just put the players in different positions, and defensively, they looked really good. Charlie Knights at the back was strong. And, Braddon got one back. Nick Harvey, who I said last night, has been scoring plenty of odd, important goals for Braddon, got one, and 4-1 it was. And I think the turning point was for Braddon, where they thought any chance they had was gone when Charlie Knight got sent off. And I felt for him, really, because the tackle was made, but the weather conditions, to me, just made it look maybe a little bit clumsier than it was, because it was a sliding tackle went in. But, Peter Kane had no option. He gave him the red card. He thought it was a red card, and that was it. And Braddon then, just defensively, they had to sort of keep things nice and tight. And Corinthians didn't score any more goals. But, character game from them. It's been at a cost. It looks like Luke Murray now will miss the semi-final. Looks as if he pulled his hamstring. But the good news was that Sean Doyle's back in training, and pretty certain that Sean will be included in the squad next week in the semi-final.
We'll wait to see. Andrew's playing fields today was a meeting of two sides who, over the last couple of years, have been very much at the sharp end of the Canada Lifemen's Premier League. Ayr United taking on defending Premier League champions Peel. And at one stage in this game, Tony, it was Ayr United who had taken the lead. But the Westerners fighting back to score 4 and take all 3 points. Ayr United 2, Peel 4. Yeah,
and I think, certainly with Peel, they're just getting back to a full-strength team. Thomas Brown, in the last game against St Mary's, came off the bench. He was only on, 10 minutes, scored the important goal. But today he got 2. And congratulations to Tom. I think that goal, possibly against St Mary's, puts him in the same bracket as one or two really famous footballers for Peel. Was 100th league goal or more for them. So at a young age of 23, 24, Tom is. There's still plenty of goals in him, and I'm pretty certain he's going to be looking to set a new record for Peel. Lee Gale on the score sheet once again. He got one, Taylor Andrews as well. So your 3 front runners, all with goals today. But for Ayr United, little pep talk must have worked last night, Rob, because I said Chris Duggan's been a little bit shy on goals. Well, he got one today, and Sean Kelly got the other one. So Ayr United, we know they're rebuilding for future seasons. Peel have got quality in experience and in youth, and they showed through today with that 4-2 win.
And the other 2 games that were due to take place in the Canada Lifemen's Premier League today that were postponed, both due to waterlogged pitches, were Foxdale versus St John's United and Ramsey versus Douglas High School Old Boys. Ardern and Drugger Limited Division 2, still just 2 points separated. Castletown at the top and Colby in second in the battle between the two southern rivals at the top of the table. So we're looking first as to how Colby getting on against the Governors Athletic side. Governors Athletic, one of 2 teams to go into today, still searching for their first win of the season, and they've certainly given Colby, the title chasers, a really good go today, but just not quite enough. Colby just edging out a 7-goal thriller here at Station Fields, winning over Governors Athletic by 4-3.
Yeah, sounds like a real humdinger, this one. But, the man of the moment again for Colby, Jordan Edge, he got that all-important goal against Ramsey Youth Centre, and he's got a hat-trick today, so well done, Jordan. Nick Clegg got the other one. But for Governors Athletic, they do promise these performances because, they've mixed it with the big boys, and here they are just losing out by that 1 goal. Owen Dunn got 1, Mike Doyle got the 2nd, and Diego Vicente got the 3rd one. Great performance by Governors Athletic.
And elsewhere, that meant that Castletown will have been looking to keep up the pace as well, and they have done that. So they stay 2 points ahead of Colby, just beneath them in second, because Castletown beating bottom of the table and winless Douglas and District by 9-0. A bit of a statement victory. Yeah, it was a statement victory. And, when you look at it at half-time, it was 2-0. And it was Ross Crawford, what a signing he's been since he signed for Castletown. He got 5 of the goals today. Aaron Field got 1, Tom Moore, Charlie Quirk, and Rob Tier got the other one. Great performance, lots of goals by Castletown. And I think Alex Crawley's still missing from the squad, so when he comes back in, look out. Elsewhere, Pulrose United in third. They started the day a good few points behind Colby in second, so still with ground to make up. Today they hosted Douglas Royal, and Douglas Royal actually took the initiative, took the advantage. Pulrose United fighting back to take something from this game. It finished 2-2.
Yeah, it was, and a close game expected, really, to be fair. And thanks to Dean Turton for coming in with a report today. And Pulrose and Douglas Royal were 2-2. And just see if we can get it up here. Chaotic draw in a game, with 3 own goals. Police actually started on the front foot with Owen Canepa, Will Coyle and Dylan Vick, all asking questions in the Royals box, but it was Royal who struck first. A deep corner from Jordan Cowan caused confusion at the back post, and Matthew Curfey, under pressure, headed into his own net. His afternoon got worse soon after when another corner at the near post ricocheted off him and in for his second own goal of the game. That's not nice. Royals threatened to a third as Cowan and Simon Dooley broke clear, only for Michael Glennon to slide back and clear off the line. And Russell Dawson then stood up brilliantly to deny Dooley just before the break. Pulrose flew out the traps after the restart and got a lifeline when a long throw was flicked on by Brian Lowther, and Luke Stewart sliced his clearance into his own goal. Lowther then drove down the right, and Owen Canepa went close before the equaliser arrived. Lowther again found Canepa. He beat the offside trap, shifted the inside and finished from 12 yards out into the corner. From there it turned into an old school scrap where bodies sliding everywhere. Dawson pulled off 2 outstanding saves in quick succession to keep out Cowan from close range, and a Bailey Ashton effort from distance at the other end. Canepa and Nathan Holzall both had sights of goal, while Cowan almost nicked it for Royals late on. It ended level, Dawson standing out for Pulrose. Credit as well to the referee, Calum Raby, who read the conditions. You could tell he's played the game as he let it flow and helped make it a proper contest, indeed, of being whistle happy. Full time, Pulley 2, Douglas Royal 2.
Excellent, thank you very much for that report. And then the fourth and final game in our Durden Drug Unlimited Division 2 this weekend pitted the 2 sides that were relegated for the Premier League last season, St George's and Moran, together at Glen Crutchery Road. Moran coming away 2-1 winners, Tony, and just taking a look at the table here, Moran 19 points at the moment behind Colby in second. So 10 points, I should say, behind Colby in second, but Moran with 3 games in hand here. And that could put them, if they were to win those games in hand as well, could put them to within a point of the top 2. So although the gap is quite big now, there's some significant ground Moran could make up.
Yeah, and as we've discussed off air, Rob, you can see it coming from Moran, because when you look at the team sheet, there's listed with really good quality players there, and at the start of the season it didn't quite sort of go for them, but they've got it together now, and today against St George is probably expected to win, but it's the names that are scoring the goals that are getting the points for them, and it's Matt Redmond got one, and Connor Gilbert got the other one, so well done to Moran. And we've got to keep an eye on them, because it's not going to be the Colby sort of Castletown, Ramsey Youth Centre and Old Boys and Pulrose show. I think Moran are going to be right in that as well, and it'll be interesting when you see Moran come across the top sides, how many points they take away from them.
Watch this space potentially when it comes to Moran in Division 2. We'll just have to wait and see. OK, Canada Life Combination 1, Braddon versus Corinthians. That was postponed today due to a waterlogged pitch. Elsewhere, Peel took on United at Douglas Road. Peel into third as it stands at the moment with a big 10-1 win over Ayr United.
Yeah, they're keeping pressure on Corinthians, who are sort of second in the league, but games in hand. And on the top of the league is Ramsey, who just want to play football and not getting the opportunity. But today, and you can see why the result's gone this way, it was Matthew Shimon. Harry Reid who got the goal for United, but for Peel it was Matthew Shimon. We've got Aaron Costain with a hat-trick, so that's 7 in one game. He scored 3 years, so he's firing on all cylinders. Jason Chalmer got one, Billy Kanyuk on the score sheet, George Taylor's well done George, Matthew Shimon got a goal and an own goal as well, so good day for Peel.
Elsewhere, Blackberry Lane, Douglas High School Old Boys versus Ramsey. That was postponed due to a waterlogged pitch, as Tony was saying there. Ramsey, top of the table and still unbeaten, but just can't kick a ball at the moment with the conditions that are going on. Now, Laxey versus St Mary's, Tony. This game was actually abandoned midway through because of the deteriorating pitch conditions, with St Mary's leading by 4-1 at the time. Do we have any updates as to what will happen with that game just at the moment?
Yeah, I can tell you what can happen. The score can stand. It's up to the two teams now. It was 4 minutes into the second half, so we got 49 minutes on the clock. My view is we've had it before, if you remember the Russian game. when Tony Harris got injured, and it was only sort of, I think, 55, 60 minutes and the game was abandoned. Both clubs were happy for the score to stand. So this one here, it's up to these two clubs because they're both, how can I say, mid-table. So they might just choose to have another game of football. We'll check with them, but it's up to them too. But I can tell you, Jamie Skillen had scored a hat-trick, 3 goals of the St Mary's 4 before the game was abandoned. So I'm pretty certain he would like the score to stand because then the scorers stand. But we'll keep you posted on that one, Rob. But it's up to the two clubs.
Excellent. So, yeah, just a reminder there, Laxey versus St Mary's. The game was abandoned due to poor pitch conditions. A couple of minutes into the second half with St Mary's leading 4-1. We await confirmation as to whether that scoreline will stand or if the game will be replayed. Oncon versus St John's United. Well, that was due to go ahead this morning, but a late pitch inspection ruled the Niverson Stadium surface was unplayable, so that game was postponed. Elsewhere, a game that was actually reintroduced into the schedule, Foxdale versus Russian. This was played at Russian United, and Russian United looking to keep the pressure on the teams at the top, beating Foxdale by 7-0.
Yeah, they've done it in style today, and great performance right the way through. Carl McGee got the first one, Lachlan Denham got the second and third, then Fingal Watterson put one in to make it 4-0. Cosmo Kinley made it 5, Jack Gilbert 6, and then Jack thought, well, I'll have a second one, and he scored the 7th one. So good, comfortable victory for Russian. And thank you for both clubs for getting this game on, because this game was supposed to be at Foxdale, but obviously with the first team game being sort of rescheduled, both clubs got together, agreed to play it at Russian. Foxdale gave up home advantage, gives both teams a game of football, and for me, peace of mind, that's another game out of the way, Rob, because they're starting to build up now.
Yeah, well done to the two clubs for getting that sorted. Ardern and Drugger Limited Combination 2 then. We had 6 games scheduled for this weekend. Tony, Ramsey Centre Old Boys versus Jims. That's a score we were waiting on at the start of the programme. Have we had an update?
Yeah, we've got it in because actually the 3 scores, and I don't think they're doing it together, but the 3 people who normally come in with the scores have actually come back and said, we've just got out the bath to try and sort out now. I don't think they were together, but they all seem to be having these excuses that I couldn't press the phone because there was no sort of blood circulation in my fingers. But I'll let you keep laughing. But Pippi Murphy got 3. Mike Nixon, well done, Mike. He got 1. Corey Cassidy on the score sheet. Dylan Parridge and an own goal as well. So, but Baltic conditions here from Ramsey Centre's manager. So, they're okay now.
Thanks, Tony, for that image. Thank you. Anyway, elsewhere, Governors Athletic versus Colby. Now, this game was moved to Colby in midweek because of the situation Governors Athletic's pitch, so they gave up home advantage to Governors Athletic, but the game still didn't go ahead anyway, unfortunately, due to the conditions. That game postponed due to a waterlogged pitch. Elsewhere, Douglas and District 2, Castletown 3.
Yeah, and Douglas and Districts, 2 goals were scored in the second half, so they were 2-0 down at half-time. It was Finn Mulligan who got 2 of the goals for Castletown. Neil Sherrocks got 1. For Douglas and District, our old man, the FA, Lewis Colcho, the CEO, he got 1. Well done, Lewis. And Joel Kanyuk got the other one. So Lewis will be living on that one for a long, long time. He hasn't scored for a while.
Oh, fair play to him. And Pulrose United took a trip to Douglas Royal, and Pulrose United, the only team across all the senior men's divisions to still have a 100% record, went into the weekend with 12 wins from 12. It's now 13 wins from 13 because they've beaten Douglas Royal by 7-1, Tony. The Pulrose United freight train in combination 2, if you like, rolls on.
Yeah, and I'll take Pulley score because they said it was Douglas Royal 2, Pulley 7, so that'll do. But Douglas Royal, I think, were right in it until about maybe 20 minutes from the end, and then they conceded a lot of goals, and I can understand why, because there's quite a few seasoned pros playing for Douglas Royal, but they mixed it with them big time. But Harley Corlett got 1, Declan Devereux got 2, we've got James Clark got 2, Callum Dunn, I'm missing a goal scorer as well, but Pulrose, fantastic stats them, Rob, aren't they? They haven't lost a game in the amount of goals that they're scoring. And when I look at them, a nice mix of youth and experience as well in that team. So great result, well done.
Elsewhere, reminder, Michael United versus St George's. That game awarded as a home walkover to Michael United this week. St George's unable to field team. And last, certainly not least, to round things out in combination 2, and indeed Saturday's fixtures, Moran against Douglas Athletic. That was a result we were waiting on as well, Tony.
Yeah, and I've had the first team one in. I'm just checking to see if we've got the combination one in, and No, we haven't. And
the latest updates I'm seeing at the moment, and of course this is only an update, this isn't confirmed, is that Douglas Athletic 4, Moran 3, but that is not a confirmed score at the moment. So that's only a latest we have, just to caveat that. If anyone does have confirmation on the final result there, please do let us know on 166 177. Well, those are the results, and we're now going to turn our attention to a cup draw, because it is time, after Laxey secured the 4th and final place in the Railway Cup competition for this season, the Manx Carstore Railway Cup, as it is known this season. We now have the 4 teams available, and therefore we can make the draw for the semi-finals. And joining us as a guest this evening, representing the new sponsors of the competition, Manx Carstore, is Luke Robinson. So, Luke, very good evening, first of all, and Manx Carstore getting on board with the Railway Cup, and you yourself actually used to play in Manx football as well, didn't you?
Hi Rob, yeah, it's a great opportunity for us. Yeah, I used to play a little bit, but coming into working for Tony now is making my Saturdays full.
I was going to say, because I'm pretty sure that when you walked in, you'd already mentioned that you were pretty hands-on today. But, you know, to stay involved in Manx football, and Tony's talked about this before as well, when local companies do come on board, it can make a real difference as well. You know, from the company's side of things, do you feel like you're almost giving something back in terms of Manx sport and Manx football? Yeah, definitely.
You know, we do a lot for charity as well, which is great for us, for giving back to the community, because, you know, at the end of the day, we wouldn't be running without them.
Absolutely.
So.
Well, let's get down to business then. So the draw for the Manx Carstore Railway Cup. Tony, before we get started, could you just remind people of the 4 teams in the hat, please?
Certainly will. And in the Manx Carstore Railway Cup semi-finals, which are going to be played next Saturday, kick-off we're looking at 1 o'clock, but I'm going to check just the light times, because it was awful dark tonight, Rob. And don't forget, we could have extra time and penalties. But the 4 teams we've got in it, obviously Corinthians, Onken and Peel had already qualified. Corinthians and Peel a couple of weeks ago, Onken last week. And now we've got Laxey in. So we've got the 4 teams. Luke has got the bag there with the numbers in, and he's going to make the draw. And if you could pull out the first number, please.
So the first number we have is number 4.
Number 4, and that is a home tie for Peel.
And they will be going against number 2.
And they will play Laxey. So the first semi-final is Peel at home against Laxey.
And then the next home team is number 3.
And number 3 is Onken.
Leaving us with number 1.
And number 1 is Corinthians. So the semi-final draws for the Manx Carstore Railway Cup semi-finals is Peel at home against Laxey, and Onken will have a home tie against Corinthians.
So finally, just get some remarks there, Tony, on those. Looking at those 2 fixtures, what do you reckon?
Well, as I said to you before, Rob, I don't think there's any weak teams, and I don't think there's any standout teams. I think they're all chipping away at each other. When I look at, Onken against Corinthians up at Ballafletcher, Corinthians could have quite easily have been 3-0 down at half-time, and they managed to win the game 3-1, so credit to them. Peel and Laxey, they had a tremendous battle at Glen Road. Unbelievable, but just Laxey the last couple of games, Rob. Last week against Onken, 4-0 up and then drew 4-4, and today against a team that Corinthians beat last week, Union Mills 8-0. They've come out with a 1-0 win. In sort of injury time. Peel probably at the moment current form are the team that are on it, but so are Corinthians as well. I'd just be interesting to see, because Peel's pitch superb, but Onken Stadium, as we saw today, a little bit underwater, and we've got to get these semi-finals played next week, because I don't want to leave it to the week after. So hopefully the stadium is fit. If not, they may have to look for another venue, but that's up to Onken, and the Isle of Man FA will work with them.
Excellent. Well, Tony, Luke, thank you very much for your company this evening.
Manx Radio Sport.
Our attention now turns to rugby. 2 games taking place today, and one of them a highly anticipated Manx derby in Counties 3 ADM Lancashire and Cheshire. Ramsey and Vagabonds, the first English League meeting between the 2 in 5 years. Elsewhere, Douglas starting Regional 2 North West, second in the table going into this weekend with a tie against fellow top 5 side Widnes. Well, keeping an eye on everything today as usual has been our rugby correspondent Dave Christian. So Dave, 2 big games today, 2 high profile games. Tell us how it unfolded.
Well, I've got some news for you, Rob. Douglas beat Widnes 29-12 at Portashee, which we already know from classifieds at the top of the hour. However, top side, Sandbach, were playing Winnington Park today away. Now, Sandbach and Winnington Park is a local derby. They're just down the road from each other. And Winnington Park won, which means Douglas are now top of the table. And I've always been cautious about perhaps overpraising Douglas because I didn't want to put a commentator's curse on them. But now they're top of the table with a game in hand, I think maybe we could start to talk about possible promotion. Maybe not. Maybe it's too early. Today, a performance great for Douglas. Liam Kirkpatrick led the way for them. 2 tries for him. And it was a day for the big men up front. The weather wasn't really good. And hooker Josh Campbell celebrated his call-up to the Lancashire under-20 side with a try. And there was also a penalty try, which helped them secure their bonus point this afternoon. Nathan Robson added 2 conversions and a penalty. And Douglas sat back and waited for the results to come in. And when they did, it was a big surprise. Winnington Park have won every game since they met Douglas 5 weeks ago. Douglas beat them at Portishead, and since then Winnington Park have shot themselves up the table. I think they're up as high as 4th now, 4th or 5th, and 5 wins on the bounce. You can't really go wrong with them. 6th place, sorry, I tell a lie now the table comes up. But Winnington Park are potentially in that group of teams now that could be challenging at the top end. There's Douglas leading now. North Ribblesdale, 2nd place, just a point behind them. Sandbach in 3rd, just a point behind North Rib. But Vale of Luna there as well. They're just a point behind Sandbach. So any one of those 4. And then there's a chasing group, 29 and 28 points, Widnes, Winnington Park and Burnage. And I mentioned Burnage specifically because that's where Douglas's postponed game is. It's an away fixture. I think it's at the back end of January off the top of my head. There has a date been set for it, but it's not in the immediate future. So potentially Douglas with 5 points from a game in Burnage could be 38 points they're on now. That'll give them 43. They could be 6 points clear at the top with that game in hand. But there's a lot of water to flow yet. There are 12 teams in this league. That means 22 fixtures, so we're not even at halfway yet. But massive result for Phil Kringle and his men. And congratulations to them. Well played. Top of the table, Douglas. They're away to West Park St Helens next Saturday. West Park are mid-table. And what's their record like? They've played 10, won 3, lost 7. So they're not enjoying the best of seasons, whereas Douglas still with that amazing defensive record, meanest defence in the league, 168 points conceded, and there's nobody really close to that. I think North Rib are maybe within 20, but yeah, Douglas going great guns, and congratulations to Phil and the team. At the Murrick Park, it was a bit of a different game, and I've put a headline on it. I've just been doing match reports for Ramsey's website. I'm calling the match report Mother Nature 1, Rugby 0. The conditions were actually horrible up there. We got a strong, cold, northerly wind and driving rain as well. Game of 2 halves, but both halves were very even. It was 0-0 at half-time. Obviously, it finished 0-0. A no-score draw in difficult conditions is probably the best way to sum it up. All the players with cold hands. Anytime there was a break in play for an injury, they were jogging around and doing little exercises to try and keep themselves warm. The best chances for both sides came in the first half. Theo Head made an early break for Vagas, got them close, but the pass was knocked on. And Ramsey down at the other end, they had a driving line-out move. They got across the Vagabonds line, but the ball was adjudged to be held up, so there was no try there. And that was pretty much the sum total of the chances. Despite the best efforts of both sets of players, when you're running with cold hands trying to catch a rugby ball, it's awkward. If you've got the wind behind you, the wind tries to draw the pass forward, and we were seeing a lot of passes with the teams playing with the wind just drift in front of the players' hands. And, of course, playing into the wind, it's going to blow the ball behind you. And it was a game for the Type 5s, and both Type 5s finished probably 50-50 today. Vagabond scrummage domination was there in places, but not all the way through. Line-out was a lottery because of the strong wind. Kicking was a lottery because of the strong wind. Even when it kick with the wind behind you, it would take the kick long, it would go dead, and that means a scrum back to where the ball was kicked from. So horrible no matter which direction you were playing, and the sooner that Ramsey's grandstand development takes place, the better. There isn't one, actually, before anybody runs to the planners, but yeah, a big grandstand or a load of trees to help break up that wind would have helped today, but there's none of that in the pipeline. Result-wise, it doesn't affect anything. Ramsey were bottom, Vagabonds were next to bottom. There were 6 points between them. They get 2 each from today, so there's still 6 points between them. Nobody's threatening anybody else at the bottom of the table for a league place. And of course, the league's going to split just after, I think, 17th of January is the last of the first round of matches. But it looks like Ramsey and Vagabonds will be in the bottom half when it does split. Probably Ramsey may take a little bit more out of this than Vagabonds. 0-0 at half-time, and you couldn't help thinking on the sideline that that's not quite enough. We need a little bit more than that, but as the game drew on, it became increasingly difficult for both teams to play any sort of constructive rugby. So fair play. Like I said, Ramsey may take a little bit more from that than Vagabonds, but both sides get 2 points, so it's all square at the end of the day.
Just turning to Douglas, Dave, another win for them. Like you say, it puts them at least temporarily top of Regional 2 Northwest. I remember when we spoke about this game before it took place on Friday Sport Preview last night, you were mentioning that Phil Kringle and his team were very much rooted in reality. They were not entertaining any talk whatsoever about the thought of promotion or league challenges, for example, title challenges, whatever you want to call it. And there's plenty of time to go in the season, but to be sitting at the top of the table come the end of the weekend, that must make them feel pretty good.
Yeah, Phil was surprised. He didn't see Winnington Park winning this afternoon either, but it's a local derby. These things happen. For the first time this season, I've tentatively had a look in Regional 1 Northwest, and I can see there's some travel challenges there for them. Derby and Long Eaton, both down there in Derbyshire. There's Huddersfield, so they're travelling across to West Yorkshire. Burton in Staffordshire, Leek in Staffordshire. But the rest of the teams, they're pretty much around the northwest. Anselmian, Stockport, Bowden, Blackburn, Manchester, Rochdale. Vagabonds, Douglas have played all these guys before, I think. So there'll be a couple of new sides, but nothing too strenuous for them. It's above Regional 1 Northwest where it gets tricky, because then you're having to travel over to the East Coast, and you're up into Durham and Newcastle and places like that. So it'll be a lot trickier for them if they got promoted again, but it's taken a few seasons to get to this position. Hopefully Douglas won't let things slip towards the end, and will manage to hold it together, and hopefully, I think that last game of the season, I talked about it last night anyway, it was away at North Ribblesdale. I'm hoping that we might get over to see that one, and we can maybe cover it for Saturday Live, but there's a lot of water to flow underneath the bridge before we get anywhere near there, so just fingers crossed for Douglas. It's gone well for them. Injuries have gone well for them. They've got lovely consistent team selection week in, week out pretty much. Matty Wood is a dream in the 10 jersey. He's been a great signing for them this season. So we'll just keep our fingers crossed and see how things go.
Excellent, Dave. Thank you very much indeed.
Manx Radio Sport.
Finally this evening, in what will be just her second fight this calendar year, Isle of Man pro boxer Jay Burden will face a former title contender in the UK tonight. The Grenade will return to action this evening at Winter Gardens in Blackpool, where she'll face an experienced opponent in Lindsay Bashinsky. The Manx fighter is unbeaten at pro level in her first 3 bouts, with her most recent success an explosive first-round knockout win over Sydney Chambers in September. Bashinsky, meanwhile, comes into this contest with 5 wins and 5 losses, and has competed for both English and Commonwealth belts in the last 2 years. Well, I've been speaking with Jade this week on the challenge ahead, and what she hopes any potential victory could do for her career path into next year.
I've got a big step up, really. She's been on the scene quite a while. She's actually boxed Nikki Arthur in the amateurs as well. But yeah, she's fought for an English title, a Central Area title, and she's also fought for the Silver Commonwealth title. She has been on the losing ends of them, but the reason why we got Lindsay is because of the experience that she has, and I feel like it's a good time to step up.
Like you say, on that point, although maybe lost those title fights, clearly someone who had the experience and the quality to be challenging in the first place, and that's ultimately what you want to be doing in the long run as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a bit of a challenging 2025, but I want to move on now. So I feel like once I get past Lindsay this weekend, like that just just sets me up for next year for bigger and better things, and it's the experience, which is what I want.
How have the last few weeks been getting ready for this one?
Yeah, it's been great. So I train, for those that don't know, I train in Liverpool at No Limits Gym, where Jamie Devine's based out of. Meatball Molly from the UFC is there now, as she's turned over. So the experience that I get from just having her around, you know, doing rounds with her, she's so experienced, and the advice that she gives me is just, yeah, it's you know, it's really great, and I've learnt loads from her. But obviously not prior to boxing in September. Before that was December the year before. But I've had like the whole year basically just to go back to basics and kind of adapt to the pro style a little bit more. So I think it's obviously done me the world of good. Hence the first round knockout in the last one.
How do you rate yourself up against your opponent this weekend in terms of trying to get the job done? I mean, are you looking for maybe something as explosive as last time, or are you preparing for all possibilities?
Do you know, like, going back to the last one, all I was told from my coach was just to be relaxed and be patient, and that's exactly what I did. And okay, the knockout came in the first round, but that was just from being relaxed, being happy in there and just enjoying it. So I don't really think about too much about her. I just kind of worry. Well, I don't even worry. I just think about what I've got to do, and I know that if I stick to my game plan, like, I know I'll be successful on the night.
Looking forward then, if, as you're hoping, you're successful this weekend against an opponent with, you know, experience, as you've pointed out as well, you know, what do you think that will hopefully open up going into, obviously not just the end of this year, but maybe going into 2026?
Yeah, I think it's, I've already heard from, my manager and stuff, it's probably titles next. So whether it's a Central Area title or like a Silver Commonwealth or just, an English title, but that's what I need to stay motivated. I need to be chasing those big fights because you want to be not frightened, but you want to push yourself as much as you can, and you want these challenges because, the more you push, the more you challenge, the more you get the experience and you become a better fighter. So I want to be mixing it with the best that's out there, really, and I thoroughly do. Like, I really believe in myself that I can mix it with them. The
support that you get from people who travel to watch your fights as well, and obviously there's been so many changes over 2025, and I know that you, particularly on social media as well, have continued to thank people for altering their plans and things that are beyond a lot of people's control, including yourself as well. So what would it mean to have a good support in Blackpool and going forward? Yeah, it means everything. Like, without these people that buy tickets and obviously give up their hard-earned cash, I wouldn't be able to do this because the pro game is pretty ruthless. If you don't sell tickets, you don't box basically until you get the opportunities. So it's just one of them things where you have to earn your stripes. Nothing's given, it's always earned. But I take pride from that and know that I've always got a good supportive contingent behind me. That is undefeated Isle of Man professional boxer Jay Burden speaking ahead of her latest fight against Lindsay Bushinsky, and that fight taking place at Winter Gardens in Blackpool tonight. Only had the one fight this calendar year so far has Jay Burden, that first round win over Sydney Chambers back in September, incidentally also at Winter Gardens in Blackpool, but a number of changes and postponements to previous fights and meetings meant had to wait a little bit of time for that fight with Sydney Chambers back in September. And also just a reminder as well, we did have another Manx pro boxer in action this weekend, Sam Rennie, in his now his home in Australia as well, looking to go 6 undefeated in the professional ranks, the reigning WBC Australasia silver super featherweight champion in a non-title contest against experienced figure in Revo Reng Kung, and Sam Rennie beating Revo Reng Kung last night in the Thunderdome 52 event in Northbridge in the Perth area. Unanimous points win for Sam Rennie, continuing his charge at the moment in the pro boxing scene in Australia, and up against an opponent who had over 80 fights to their name at professional level. So quite the journeyman in the sport as well. It's just about all we have time for then on Saturday Sport Classified this evening on Manx Radio AM 1368. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll be handing back over in a few moments to Manx Radio Gold. Just a quick reminder then of what's happening out and about as well. Just please be aware there is that yellow weather warning in place for snow and ice. That is expected to affect the highest part of the island. That came into force this afternoon. It runs until 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, Sunday the 30th of November. Please do bear that in mind. And also bear in mind as well that in the last hour and a half or so, the Isle of Man Constabulary did confirm the Mountain Road is closed in its entirety, and that is because of the snowy conditions up there. The roads have been gritted earlier in the day, but not effective enough against the current band of weather. So if you are planning to use the Mountain Road this evening and overnight, be aware the Mountain Road is closed in its entirety. We await further updates as to when that may open. So please do take care out there tonight in the rather cold weather that we've been having, not just today, but this week. Have yourself a wonderful Saturday evening, whatever you're doing as well, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend as well. If you want to catch up on anything you've missed out on this programme, it will be available as a podcast later this evening over at www.manxradio.com. Until next time, thank you and bye for now.
Manx Radio Sport.